today I'm here to encourage you to optimize the best user experience for your life by unframing it. Now, what do I mean by unframing it? Let me start with the definition. When I think of a frame, I think of fixed parameters. 3 by 5, 4 by 4, 5 by 7. It's always a rectangle or a box, and a beautiful picture is supposed to fit into it. Sometimes you can apply this to your lives and refer to it as the conventional checklist that is considered what life's supposed to be. It's almost like a recipe for success. It's what you're supposed to do, it's what you're told to do, it's how you're supposed to behave, and it looks something like this. It's almost like a method. You go to grade school, you get a degree, you find a job, and if you follow this checklist appropriately, you tell your kids to do the same thing, but it doesn't always work. Sure, you may be self-sufficient, sure you may find a great job, you might be able to pay all your bills, but my question to you is, does this make you happy? Does this satisfy you? Does this excite you to wake up every day and to go to work? It might, and if it does, that's very good, and I'm very happy for you. But if it doesn't, then it's not the end of the world, because then this is what applies to you. It's the unconventional checklist that is also life. And we've seen many great examples, and to highlight one of them, I love this example of Steve Jobs. Did he go to grade school? Yes, he did. But he was often so bored and so frustrated because he felt like there was no purpose to what he was learning. So when he was in the 4th grade, his professors thought that he was too smart, and they said, this boy already knows everything that we're trying to teach him, so maybe he should just move up to high school. And even though his parents didn't agree to that, he did whatever he had to do. But when it came time for college and he had a decision whether he wanted to pursue further studies or not, he joined all the classes that he had to, but still he lacked direction. He lacked inspiration. And he felt like, I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to do, but still it's not enough. I'm not finding my passion. I'm not finding my reason for being. So the only class that resonated with him was calligraphy. And that explains the typefaces we see today from Apple. So once again, he dropped out. He found a job, but this was only 18 months after dropping out of college as an assistant web designer and a video game designer at Atari. So the moral of the story here is that you don't always have to follow a recipe. Sometimes success finds you, but the only way this really happens is by following what you're most passionate about. So when it was time for me to go to college and to pick a field of study, I thought to myself, do I follow the conventional checklist? Do I become a doctor, a banker, or an engineer? Do I follow one of these traditional paths because that's going to guarantee me success? It's going to give me, a lifetime of wealth and respect, and everybody's going to think of me as being a really smart person. But is it going to make me happy? Am I going to have value every morning when I wake up and say, I'm so excited to go to work today? And I figured that none of these resonated with me. So this is what I chose. I chose to be a user experience designer. What is that? User experience design is a brand new term that was discovered at Apple in 1993. It was discovered by a cognitive scientist named Don Norman, and it was the art and the process of designing digital or physical products that were easy to interact with, that were delightful, and that created an experience that added value to a user's life. An example of which would be the Apple computer in 1993. If we were to see that computer today at a mall, none of us would even look at it. We'd just keep walking because it doesn't add value to our lives. We can't touch it, we can't feel it. It doesn't give us that instant gratification. I mean, it's there, but it's so clunky, it's so chunky, you can't take it with you anywhere. So instead, user experience evolved, and this is why Apple is still in the market today, because they listened to their users' needs, and they realized that now a computer is something that a 6-month-old baby can use by watching videos, and also an 84-year-old woman can use by playing mind games. So user experience has changed everything. Here's another example by Heinz. Heinz started off with a glass bottle for their tomato ketchup, but it created a lot of problems because the tomato ketchup would freeze up in the bottle, and when people would try to shake it out, it would end up freezing even harder, and the bottle would break because it was glass. So instead, they invited a group of cognitive scientists, and they asked them to study the user experience of the tomato bottle, and they discovered that users wanted something that gave them instant gratification, something that you could touch, you could hold, you could squeeze, and the suction pipe in it would also control the amount of tomato ketchup that came out of it. So this way they created a beautiful experience that users liked that they could engage with, and something that added value to their lives. This, an example everybody knows, Gojek, my favorite example. Whenever anyone asks me what's your best example of a user experience design in Indonesia, it would be Gojek. Why? Because it addresses the issue of disruptive innovation. It's a new product and a new service that's entered an existing market, and even though it was very overwhelming at first, it solves the problem of traffic. When we're stuck in traffic, which I'm pretty sure happens to all of us out here today, we can't get to the places we need, we can't get the medications that we need, we can't get the food that we want. Everything is a problem because of logistics. But Gojek solves the problem of logistics, and that's how it makes our lives better. It focuses on the user. So to show you why user experience is so important, and it's an emerging field within technology, it's because when businesses listen to their users' needs and they focus on providing users with the experience that they crave, they're able to increase their revenue by a minimum of 37% and triple their returns almost 3 times over. So it's very important. But beyond all this, beyond the statistics, beyond the science, it boils down to the basic fact of psychology, of listening. It's a human need. And sometimes this whole talk applies to the user interface, the user experience. It's what I design at work every day. But the way you can unframe your lives to optimize the best user experience is by listening to yourself. What makes you happy? What inspires you? What makes you want to go to work every day? If you're not doing that, you have the time to change it. You have the opportunity to revise. You have to challenge the norm to optimize the user experience that is the best for your life. Just because something may be good for someone and it may be a recipe for success for them, it's not wrong, but it's not right for you either to follow them. You need to define your own path in life and do something that adds value to you. My final message today would be the sketch that I always look to whenever I'm in doubt. It's an image of a bird sitting on a very thin branch, but still the bird is so composed and it's so calm. At any minute, this branch could break and the bird could fall, and that could be the end of its life. But we all know that birds have wings and they can fly. But we forget that when we apply it to ourselves. We also can fly. These birds have that faith within themselves that if the branch beneath them breaks, they have the ability to fly to new horizons. They can find better communities that understand them. They can fly to better environments, and they can merge with a completely new and different society. That applies to us as humans as well. We should never let society restrict us or end things for us. Instead, always believe in yourself and believe in the fact that the unconventional may sometimes be the solution. Thank you.